Get your day started right. From our shack to yours, this is Coffee and Ham Radios. We are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hola. I think that worked.
Hola.
Good evening.
Ladies
We're
and
live.
gentlemen, we
Believe me.
are live.
And the
Hopefully
crowd
that
goes
played.
wild.
Yay.
What's
Howdy.
that?
So hopefully that played. Howdy, everybody.
It did play. It sounds fabulous. Your soundboard skills are getting,
I'm honing them.
you're getting back on point. We need some dance music, I think, one of these shows, but
I'm working on it.
so welcome to the premiere edition of Coffee and Ham Radio, as we like to call it, Cafe Noir, which means coffee at night in fancy talk.
Is that a Frenchman word?
It is Frenchman. C'est du français, Mo. It's my terrible French. If Molson heard me, he's probably going, do you know what you just said? No, not really, Molson.
Hey Jim, with a $10 ham doing in a with a $10 ham like you doing in a jive joint like this.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that would have been good if you'd gotten that out.
Ham noir.
Ham noir. Oh, that's a good one too. I like Cafe Noir. We need to work on an intro. We need a nighttime intro because I thought, this is getting our day not started.
Just
at
kind
this
of
point.
an alert that we're on.
Right.
You just got alert that we're on.
Oh wait, that's the wrong music.
Boom chicka wow wow, boom chicka wow wow.
Wait a second, I didn't sign up for that.
Yeah, right. I'm starting to get nervous.
Bob is the
your
guest
idea,
of honor. So we have.
Are you telling me I'm in the premiere edition of the?
That's right.
Wow, I feel
Right.
privileged, guys.
You are the first official guest on the now regular Thursday night edition of Coffee and Ham Radios. We announced this in the Discord the other day. We're not going to be doing a Sunday morning show anymore. So we're going to do Thursday night, 7 p.m., and then Saturday morning at our regular time at 9.
Right.
So, and for now, the Thursday night show is going to be here on my channel because YouTube reasons, and then it will eventually migrate to the free gym. That's right. Brother needs some watch hours. Then we'll move it to the regular Coffee and Ham Radio channel. So, anyway,
So Carlos is
welcome.
asking if this is whiskey and ham radios. Carlos, this is brown liquor and ham radio.
Brown liquor is always acceptable, my friend.
I just
Good
have
evening.
water in my cup.
Yeah, me too. That's also my
Survey
water.
says that's probably not true.
So
My
Tio,
seriously
you said you popped a cold one. Is that what happened the other day?
Yes.
Oh, see, maybe I'm talking to somebody else. I thought.
No. Oh yeah. Hotel beer, $7 a beer. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's.
I hope that was special.
No,
That
it was
is-
Killian's Irish Red. It wasn't special at all.
It's one. It sounds like one of those hotels that charges by the hour. You're trying to
Yep.
get $6, $6 a beer.
Well, that's why it's so expensive to
$7.
go to camp.
When I went to Washington D.C., I bought my sister and myself a beer at this really fancy. She wanted to go to this really fancy motel, or hotel, I guess.
Thank you, Don.
We were doing the ride through the city. $15 a piece.
I don't doubt it.
Well, that's more than
It was a
Vegas.
good
like
beer.
Vegas is like a $9.
It was a
like
good
Miller
beer,
Lite
but it
in
wasn't
Vegas is
$15.
$9.
$9 for a Miller Lite. That's wrong.
It's robbery.
Yeah.
I stayed someplace one time. I think it was in Hawaii, maybe. I don't remember. I was at a fancy hotel because that's how I roll. And they had the mini fridge that like automatically counted everything.
Yeah.
So it was stocked. I think it was Hawaii. It was stocked, and I just opened it and I went, oh, cool, candy bars and water. Well, I think I'll have one. Oh, wait, they charge for that. Oh, never mind. Already rang it up. Drinking it now, son.
Congrats, Dean.
Dean, way to go, man.
Yeah, good
Awesome.
on you, man.
Golf claps.
Nice.
So, yeah, hotel water and soda and candy bars. No, it was California. It was San Jose. I was there for a conference. I remember that.
Yeah, can we get back to the $9 Miller Lite? When you buy a $9 Miller Lite, do they give you $15 change back?
No. So what I do in Vegas is I have a gamble card.
Stays in
usually
Vegas?
The hotel that I stay at. And I'll go over to the machines and put like an odd amount of money in there, like $78 or something like that. and then I'll sit down at the bar and put that into the the electronic slot machine. So it looks like I'm sitting there gambling.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll tell you, they'll be like, hey, you need to bet more if you're not betting enough. And then they'll usually give you beer. And by giving you beer, that is hopefully you spend your $78. But that helps you get around that. The other thing that you can do when you're in Vegas, a lot of people don't know this, is you can go to the sundry shop at the hotel and you can pick up a cold beer in there at a lower price. And because Vegas is a town of law-abiding citizens, you can walk around with an open container anywhere. So
You cannot do that here. The sheriff will arrest you.
Now, James, we had this talk before.
I might have heard that conversation once or twice. Not directed at me. I was on a call with a drunk person with the sheriff's office. I'm just saying. So, if I have 6 beers a year, I am an alcoholic that year. So I don't hate it. I just don't care about it that much, one way or the other.
It takes away from radio money.
Well, that too.
I mean, not the way Ape does it, but you know.
I mean, I need to do some scientific studies and find out if booze goes bad, because I know there's a bottle of scotch and vodka up in that cabinet that it was 12-year-old when I bought it. And it might be 25 years by now. I don't know.
So you talk about your radio money. I just saw today that somebody was looking to buy a 817 ND. I just happen to have an 817 ND sitting here hardly used.
Well, there you go.
Ape's in the radio selling mood.
Well, I got rid of the G90, and now I'm like, well, maybe I get rid of that 817 while I'm at it.
We'll see. I'm with you on that. If I've got a piece of gear, I want to use it. Otherwise, I need to offload it. I don't want it just sitting around. So,
to
like,
me, the 817 is like insurance policy radio, right? It's like a case.
Could be your go radio. That's right.
Yes.
Well, you know it's going to work.
You won't be able to read the display on it.
You can't read the screen.
Right. It's like I have a scope I'm trying to get rid of. Shane said I could send it to him for testing.
What I do is on an 817, I just use my my phone and I look through the phone screen, and blow it up.
That's actually a pretty good idea.
Right. It's not a bad idea at all, Chuck.
Yeah,
or else get thicker glasses.
It was your eyes.
Right. My eyes have gotten bad and my shirts all shrink. So there's that. Well, so we've got an interesting show for you guys tonight. We have, as you know, we started selling Ape Saturday?
We're selling Ape?
No, he's not. He's our Ape. He's not for sale. We like him too much.
That's what I thought.
Ape cheap Ape. We started selling the CaHRTenna Mercury on Saturday. Yes. And we are more than 50% through our stock at this point. Actually, we're pushing more like 60 or 70%.
Oh, I got 10.
10 left?
Sitting there. 10 box ready to go.
So that's
10 box and ready to go.
10 singles.
Well, I mean, that's 20%, right?
Yeah. So we've sold 80%.
We still have 4 in the international bucket.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. So we have done quite well, and there's some of yous have already gotten your antennas, because I have seen pictures on Discord of some of our happy customers, and that's been going pretty well. We did have one shipping sales department miscommunication, and that was my fault. So I'm just gonna say it. It was the new guy,
Mr. Salty Pants, when we were asking about that process.
Well, it was, our checks and balances are good, because he told me how many we had left, and I said, that count and my count are like different. I have one extra.
Well, yes, and to be fair, the only thing I know about the count is
before.
I have it in the website, right? And I'm like, I put in here whatever Ape told me that we have to sell, less the holdouts for international review and sales and whatever. So I knew I didn't have all of them listed on the website. So I thought, well, I don't know, Chuck's confused or something. I don't know. Chuck was right. Chuck,
we have
somebody
here.
Job, man.
We have the HOA. I don't know if we announced him yet. I just dropped a link for subbing to his channel.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Bob. I mean, Bob's he's not like company anymore, right?
He's myself in.
We have the HOA ham here with us tonight, Bob, all the way from a secure undisclosed location in Florida. Bob, welcome.
Is it secure?
Thrilled to be here.
I hope it's secure.
Secure enough.
I just noticed you dropped the third one. I just saw that. I just got home.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Bob and Chuck are going to share with us the CaHRTenna Mercury.
Yeah, we're just
Take it
gonna.
away, Chuck.
Jim and I, we're all just gonna drop right off the stream. It's gonna be the Bob and Chuck show.
It's all Bob and Chuck.
So what do you want me to do? So first of all, was my packing job okay? I noticed you had too much tape on it, but I'm like, man,
Actually, there was
he
just
really cut that
there
thing.
was just enough tape. Obviously,
It
that
would
was
stand the
mostly,
Sawzall.
that was mostly
like-
made up.
Brother's serious about this. See, look at that. He's bringing out the power tools.
He had
Damn, son.
red wires pouring out of it too. I was like,
I
wow.
happened to have a spool of orange wire in the bin, and I thought I've
that
got to
red
do this
kinda
for
looks
effect. And
I was
it
crying.
popped out better than I thought.
It was great.
Yeah, it was well
That
done.
was great.
With your purchase, you will get one of these.
A packing list with
I
instructions.
put it in front of my face. I can't see it, so it's packing.
That's
list
better that way.
and
Yeah,
Yeah,
we like
I know.
it that way, Chuck.
I got a voice.
Somebody full
for
screen
radio.
Chuck when he's flexing his
My bad. What?
Who's
You have that power. Oh wait,
Let me do this again.
Oh wait, is now good? Yeah, okay. good.
Actually, I
now it's
do
good.
too.
There you go. Perfect.
I even
Oh,
get it
Chuck
right
could
side
get
up.
it right, and Abe couldn't. Okay.
Well, I'm holding stuff up, man. How can I do it? And in the box, I spent hours and hours packing these little things. And you know what I did too is, it's funny. I got two wrong, and how I found out is I weighed them in grams, and even two of those little banana plug things showed up on my scale. I couldn't believe it. But that was because I had packed that one sooner. And then you'll get this. Woo! He's not full screening me again, but that's okay.
What I want to know, Chuck, did everybody get a KK6USY sticker, or was that just me?
You got one, and one other person got one, but he had to cut his. When we sent out duels, it's like I was able to get 2 packs in that little box, but the box went like this though. So they got extra tape, and the first one I threw a sticker on that one, but yeah, I didn't have. I don't know if I got that many stickers, to tell you the truth. But can you go full size again? Here's the actual winder. Who's in charge here?
I'm innocent on that one, Charles. I'm innocent on that
I
one.
have to tell you guys, I printed my own out, and it looked pretty good.
It looks the rounding of the edges. It really gives it a finished look.
Next level, man.
It is,
up.
and that's Thump, man. Thump's amazing. The first time we did it it was 3 hours in headaches at the same time. The second time was 30 minutes, but Thump did have the original size
STL.
and all that stuff. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
So he was a little ahead of the game. All the ideas were already there. But I think that's all the parts. I mean, there's a lot of parts. I showed you guys that, and how it worked out. The instructions do say something about you'll get 4 black and 3 orange. That's not totally true. Some have 4 black, some have 4 greens, and some have 4 oranges. And then they also have greens and oranges with blacks. They're all mixed up. It worked out. That took me a little bit of ciphering to figure that out, how I could make them all work out evenly. But it worked.
I'll
So
fix that in the instructions there, Chuck.
You have a
Yeah, I
plan
forgot to
for
tell you.
how to deploy it, right? With the colors, the way since you have a mix and match on the colors.
Well, part of the reason the mixed bag was a little more exact same ones as a total all black, and it was kind of nice because the 3 one goes to the top, and then the other 2 go to the end. So when it's wound up, sometimes I've not so much with this antenna, but I've had other antennas where I can't figure out where the end of the wire is when you've got multiple lines out. When it's been setting for like a month or 2 in my bag, it's been thrown in there, So I figured if each person will know which are the end ones for theirs. So I don't
That's
know.
a great
It's
idea.
just-
Mhm.
it's
Well,
just
when
a
Chuck was
different
like messing
different
around
idea.
with all the different carabiner colors, he's had them all laid out and all this stuff, and I'm like, this
He was
ain't taste of
stressing.
rainbow, son. Go on and get that packed up. What you
He
waiting
was,
on?
he was stressing on that. He was stressing a lot about them colors. That's right.
I want them to work out because I had each pack had 6 of each, so I
I'm
wanted
like,
to
we
work
ain't
out
filming
right.
a Skittles commercial.
And I have to give credit to my wife. She came in and her and I talked about it a little bit, and she's got one of those minds for like numbers games. So
And
she's good
and
with
she
that kind
told
of
you
stuff.
what's what, and you
Take her to
said yes,
Vegas.
dear.
She goes. This is the way you're going to do it. Okay, it's done. It's a done deal.
Ask her if you can see her bank account too, Chuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get to see hers. I don't know.
I'm thinking if we ever need a substitute for Chuck, we're just going to get Mrs. Chuck on here.
Oh, she's a way better talker than I am.
She can turn this into an operation for reals. So, Bob, you've got your antenna. Have you got it deployed yet? Have you got it put together yet?
It is not deployable yet. So I dropped another video today, just shortly before the show, and
Show that thing off
after-
again. That's sexy.
after I dropped that, I got to the point where I took my 10-meter legs and got those soldered together and put onto the frame. So right now, this is the frame built up with just the 10-meter wire on it. And I have my 20-meter cut and my 40-meter leg cut. And hopefully that'll be this weekend where I get out in the field and get everything trimmed up correctly to the instructions, which quite frankly, I think the way you guys approach this to give some exact dimensions to deploy, I think was a great approach. And so I'm going to deploy it precisely like that. Of course, when I go out, I'll make sure that I have some ability to flex and shorten or lengthen as needed, and then make it permanent from there. But just to come back to the frame, what you guys are saying about the rounded edges. I mean, I thought the Artemis frame was awesome when you guys released that antenna. And then as soon as I open up the box for this, there's an immediate difference. You can see it right away, just how much more polished this looks. And it's not that the Artemis wasn't polished. It's just when you put the two side by side, it's a whole other level. So it definitely looks better. And then the way you got.
I wondered if that was Bob. Your
What'd he
audio
say?
is.
What'd he say?
Your audio just died completely, Bob. I've been hearing a lot of
touch the
ticking.
mute button. All right,
There
can
you
you hear me
go.
now?
Yeah,
There you
don't
go.
hit the
Sorry
mute.
about that. So I don't even know how I hit that. But so you also squared off the edge for your Bnc connector. So that makes installing the Bnc connector pretty easy to do.
You know, we had one side done on the one, not the original model, but like I think it was the original because I've got it, and somehow the whole size got changed a little bit, and it never got put back in, and we didn't notice it on the first one, but
Yeah. But there is a size difference. So this is the
it's
original,
huge.
and then here's the new one. Now I think that this original one is a half-inch smaller. So this was the very first prototype that we did. It's the one that did the gray ones, right? So these are a half-inch smaller. So this is the one I still use as the Artemis Prototype. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with the antenna.
It's a
just
nice
that
size, actually.
yeah, when you get to this one's got the coffee and ham radios on the back that we took off. It cost more to print that out, and you shrink wrap it, so we took it out. But this one is bigger, which makes it nice because you can wind more wire on here, and it makes it thinner for when you pack it up. Plus, you have more options for mounting it. We have bigger holes and stuff like that. So the
original half-inch smaller design, it made it really hard to get the toroid connected to the Bnc connector. There just wasn't a lot of room in there, so we just added
there was
extra
a reason for that, because the original one, if you look at where Ape's finger is pointing, the Bnc was at the other side of that, so it had more room originally. The gussets were your opposite, which is the way the one I'm using. That was the way it was, and I liked it that way, but we thought maybe it didn't have as much strength that way because the pulling was coming the other way. But I haven't broke one. So
yeah, well, the thought was that if you had this mounted up more as a center for like a dipole, like we did now, there's more downward pressure on this ledge, and so you want your I don't know
that part too. How we fix that?
We wanted this on the bottom to give support, so that way the energy is going back into the frame. If it's at the top and you're pulling where the gusset attaches, the energy is pulling away from the frame.
Yeah. That is a gusset. Show them how we also made it just a little easier to with the little curved section there. I talked to Thump and he says it'll have the same strength. You know how it has a curve at the BNC.
Right, so this one has
somebody bring him up full screen there.
Fixing to. Oh, there we go.
So this is the original. Well, this is one of the original Artemis frames. You can see that this is at a 45-degree angle. We use the Pythagorean theorem to figure that out.
345, man. 345.
Then this is the. Let me get this right. All right. So this would be the Mercury. And it's got an arc in there. So,
and that's inherently stronger than a 45-degree angle.
We graduated in trigonometry.
That's what Thumb says. Strong. And when we did all the testing on it, it seemed like it would work. It would work fine. So,
yeah, I'm interested to see how Bob's comes out with measurements because I've used mine. I've set it up where I built it originally at the park like 4 or 5 times now, and it's been the same within a few, like 0.1 SWR. And I set it up the same every time, and that's part of the process of this whole thing. And then I also set it up in Oregon. It was a little bit different up there, but it was still well within. I had my 705, and it was still well within. Like 1.5 was like the highest it ever got, and that was at the edges, So, but we'll be interested to see how Bob comes out with my measurements and stuff.
Hopefully this weekend I can get out and do the setup, and that'll be in a video next week then.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, but
there's some other people
precise,
out there
sorry about that. The precise measurements, again, I think that was a great direction to go. I mean, a lot of people that sell commercially, that's what they do in the factory, and they create the repeatability. So here it's Ham's building it themselves, but you've created the way for them to get that type of repeatable performance out there in the field. So
have you seen Chuck's video when he had it deployed and he was testing it?
Yes, absolutely.
I was like, holy moly, go Chuck.
And then the whole thing is too.
It was great.
I think I got it in the instructions. The TO would know, but because he redid the instructions after I got them wrote up, and then he polished them. But
gotta put that car spin on it, man.
23 feet, right in that area is 23 feet and like 12 to 15 feet of some line at the end of the antenna. And I told Bob the other day because I didn't get it in his instruction. I got to check the final instructions too. Your 40 meter at 23 feet, your 40 meter end of the leg should be about 6 feet off the ground, and those numbers should work pretty dang good for you.
Now you'll have to tune it or adjust it to your conditions, though, right? Like, so if you have a mast that's 32 feet and solid at the top, and you want to mount it up 32 feet, then you're gonna have to adjust the measurements a little bit.
Yeah, I set it up for 10 meter ones, and they're you don't want to put it at the 32 point, 20 to 23 feet. And if you look at like other companies, they'll tell you this is made to set up at 20 feet tall or 21 feet tall.
Yeah, I think it was a solid plan. What I'm saying is you do get different performance at different heights for different frequencies.
Right.
So with this one, Chuck was saying that the 10-meter poles are generally the most popular poles that are out there for people who take portable. So sometimes different people have different masts for like a home or QTH deployment. Right. So this being a portable antenna, we felt that those measurements and that design was best suited for right in that 23-foot sweet spot.
In a 32-foot, you have the Soda Beams, CaHRTenna, and the DX Commander lightweight one. That's about 10 or 11 sections, and it's fairly strong. It'll do this waving a little bit still, but it's not too bad. And I like to take the coax and tie it down a couple sections, because then if it pulls on it, it's pulling on the stronger part of the strain relief, and it's also pulling on a stronger part of the pole, the mast.
You'd be fine, Richard. It's not going to be a problem for you.
There you go, Richard. Right, straight from the professor himself.
It shouldn't be. I don't think that you would notice any difference at all.
And then Don is being Don. He said you need to do some Mamana calculations.
Yeah, the thing is that so we've done some videos where we've shown MMA&A in the past. The thing that's difficult with MMA&A is how do you do inductors and ununs and all that stuff in there. It's tricky, right? Like I'm not willing to go on camera doing it.
It's easier just to wind a toroid.
Yeah,
Right.
so we're taking a look at EasyNeck. EasyNeck recently made a version
Right.
available, and it's supposedly a little bit easier. There's nothing wrong with MMA&A. It's a great tool for testing out, learning antenna theory, radiation patterns, far field plots, and all that stuff. But I think that we might be able to do some better stuff with EasyNeck.
Yeah, I've used it a few times now, and it works. I've talked to my buddies in San Diego. In fact, the last time I took
With
it out,
EasyNeck?
yes, with EasyNeck. With
That's
this
how good
antenna,
Chuck is.
with this antenna, and
I drew a picture in it.
I know what my doublet does between here and San Diego to these guys, and they know my signal, and it's every bit as good as my doublet most days. And if you guys watch that video I did on St. John Mountain, at the end I was on 10 meters and got a guy in where's he at? Down in South America someplace. But he had a big pileup, and I was running 100 watts with the 705 because I ran my amp that day, but I got him first call, and that wasn't too bad. I forget exactly. Oh, he's in Brazil. Excuse me. So that was a pretty good contact, and I was like 5'7", I think, to him. So
Bob, when you deploy yours, how are you planning to? You got like a 10-meter pole, a 12-meter pole, or?
Yeah, I have a 10-meter pole, so I'm going to go to the same park that I did the Artemis, deploy it the same way, right in the same area, stake it down, try to get it the ends 6 feet off the ground, like Chuck suggested, and then do my fine tuning. I'm going to start with the dimensions precisely. I'll use zip ties to keep my wire in place, get it up on the mast, put the analyzer to it, start with 10 meters, tune that in, then drop the 20, tune that in, and then down to 40. So, yep, pretty much going to get up on an MFJ mast out there in the park, and hopefully everybody stays away while I figure it out.
Well, try not to make the neighbors mad by standing on public land and being sketchy, I guess, right?
Well,
Like Walt.
it will be public land.
Yeah.
It's a state park,
Right.
and the Karens frequent those places. But my wife and I are
Right.
going to go out early in the morning when it first opens up, and hopefully we beat everybody there and have success with it.
Because the wild Karens have no respect for public land versus HOA land. Because our buddy Walt,
It's all HOA.
woo, yeah, she was trying to practice some eminent domain or Soviet aggression or something. I don't know what that was.
Right. Hey, Chuck, Rob's got a question for you here. Rob wants to know if he should just make a 40-meter dipole and use a tuner instead of making the link dipole. What do you think?
yeah, if you can do that if you want to run some ladder line to it, it'll work. That's all a doublet is.
So
Actually, we may come out with a doublet. Who knows?
Well, yeah, we got a doublet planned, and we also have a fan dipole planned, and we've got a
Right.
couple of other antennas planned, but we gotta do them like one at a time because of, well, it's not easy.
Stuff.
Number one,
It's expensive for one.
and number two, supply chain difficulties and financial strains.
Right. Well, and there's a lot. You'd be surprised, and I was not involved in the Artemis stuff at all, but I've been involved in this, and there's a fair amount of logistics that happens in the backside of this whole operation. That it's right. For one, and the other thing that's overarching in the whole thing is not the shipping department or the whatever Steve said he is, the research and development department, but man, our boss, that guy won't leave things alone.
He's the worst.
He's the worst. I'm getting messages from him all times of the day. Have you done this? Does this work? Does this work? I don't know. Why don't you go Google that? I don't know.
I saved the day with the count. Saved the day with the count yesterday.
You
He was
did.
counting
You-
them. I was getting my Sesame Street on. I'm like 1, 2,
Kevin,
3 Mercury antenna.
So the way the backside of the orders are working. So the first time we did it, and I heard this. We were doing the PayPal and messages in Discord, and that made someone very grumpy, very grumpy.
happened?
right,
I
that
was
guy.
laughing about something else.
And because apparently a lot of people don't understand, okay, you send us money, now where do we ship the thing? So I said, boys, we got to do this like, we're in IT. More than one of us are in IT here in this group. Why are we doing this like 1986? So
Easy.
Out the door as fast as possible. These hams, they want their stuff and they want it
right,
now.
they do. I know, right? And so we got the website set up and went through several iterations of and it's a template site. I did not spend hours and hours building that site.
Well, what's funny is that when we were selling some of the other antennas, the Artemis, like 6 of them, the tracking numbers didn't work. And somebody, reached out to me and they're like, "Hey, did this thing ship yet? I ordered a week ago." And I look it up and I'm like, "Oh my God, it says it's still at the post office."
Well, what it said was the post office hadn't received it yet. I'm like, it's not in my hands, and they're saying it's not in their hands. What do we do about this? And it turns out we just had the wrong tracking numbers, and they still owe us $60 for that mess up.
I'm thinking the whole time I'm like, these are sitting in the back of T.O.'s car, and he has no idea driving around.
It's a big car.
but I'm like, we're gonna have to send 6 antennas out, and
they're frozen in the back of Steve's car in northern.
So I put together
Wisconsin.
like a, hey man, we went to the post office. They say they don't have it. We're gonna have to file a claim. And he's like, it's sitting right here. I got it this morning. I was like,
awesome. Yeah.
And we've had a few bugs to work out on this. So I've been doing the website and the ordering stuff and got the postage integrated in there so I can go on the website and process the orders. And then I have to send the label to Chuck, who's our shipping department.
Shane had one delivered to the field.
I did that on purpose, though.
Mr. Steve Reynolds, and I can't remember Steve's call sign. He got one and he ordered 2, and I was like, "Oh, my bad." I did blame it on Chuck for a minute, but
did you see? Yeah, you did. You did blame it. So Chuck or Kevin Ghosh is like, I'm waiting for the Chuckson antenna, and I'm not one of these guys that has to name an antenna after me. But a Chuckson for Mox, it might be good.
A Chuckson.
So what we need to do, Chuck, we need to go down to the local camping supply store and find those collapsible tent poles and stick one Artemis frame on each of the 4 corners. That's going to be a really expensive antenna, though. those frames are not cheap. That's the most expensive part of the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, Chuck did a really good job. He did most of the work on this antenna, and I don't have a problem saying that. I like arguing with him all the time about the different stuff, but he was set to, from the very beginning, to go ahead and he's like, I already know all about these link dipoles, and I'm like, Chuck, link dipoles are X, Y, Z, and he went out and he did it. So big kudos.
It didn't take very many tries either.
What's that?
I said it only took me like 2 cuts. I cut 10, I cut 20, and I cut 40. I set them all up. 10 and 40 were like there. 20 was like, oh wow, something's really wrong there for some reason.
I was waiting till tomorrow to make this announcement, but I'm sharing something. So Chuck did such a great job that we decided to start up Chuck.
I didn't think you were supposed to put that out yet, man.
Party at Chuck's house.
Chuck's antenna camp, and I came up with this idea when I was thinking about how Tio was at the Youth on the Air camp, and everybody was like, well, we need OMs on the air, and we need. I was like, Chuck's antenna camp.
I've actually been asked to do that on the Toads one time, but I'm gonna have Adam find us a nice place that it's only like a mile hike into it, but you got to bring all your own gear and your soldering. You got to get those butane soldering irons and all that stuff,
and worry about snakes and lack of water and.
Well, I figured with Chuck's antenna camp, the slogan is all expenses paid by you. Right. So
the people that are attending.
No corners. We're not cutting any corners because you're paying. So they just
That's
stay tuned.
Excellent.
Details. Richard's right.
Yeah, where is it?
I didn't have a picture one that I could use. So
it's actually the whole size of the mountain behind him.
I see the Mox is becoming a very popular antenna these days.
I wonder why.
I don't know.
It's because you're the prophet.
Everybody's building them now.
You're the seer of Moxon.
They actually are really, really. I mean, it's basically just a bent full size Yagi, so they were pretty good.
I will be honest. I have not Googled what a Moxon is. Is that a brand or is that a specific
it's like a square
antenna?
He doesn't know what we're talking about. He keeps laughing about it though.
Well, no, I know it's an antenna, but I don't know what kind of antenna.
It was
like a
invented by
square.
the guy's name was Moxon
Okay.
or something like that. I forget.
Oh,
I knew
Bobby
the whole
Joe
story. I was
Moxon.
supposed to tell Bobby Joe.
Okay.
They're pretty cool. What is nice is they like a 20. What is a 20 meter? 20 meter Yagi would be like 30 feet across, something like that.
Well, it's not a full wave, right? It's half wave, right? So it's 16.
Yeah, but
16
it's 2 halfways on a Yagi.
Oh, right. So you're right. So it's 30 some feet across.
And a Moxon 20 meter is only like 21 feet across, so it takes up a lot less space. It's
Okay.
they're hard, they're a little bit harder once you go past 2 elements. They're a little harder to do, but they can do more. And I finally found my Moxon site again, so I'll be studying stuff. I was thinking about taking one to Hawaii and setting it up as a vertical though. Like
Now
what is it? VK3? What's like
Peter, VK3KYE.
Peter? He does it
Peter
all
Parker.
the time on the beach and just kills it with.
I just bought one of
5
Peter's
watts.
books. Peter is a prolific, I think is the right word, author. And that means he writes books. And he's
Right.
yep, Arthur.
less Moxon.
Author.
You got it right.
And he's got a whole mess of these books out. And I bought. I figure I'd start at the beginning, so I bought his. Hey, you're a ham radio operator. I haven't read it yet, but he's got all kinds of different books, different topics. And I got to tell you, I love watching his videos. He's just creative, bright. I mean, he's a smart feller. Let's leave it at that.
I don't think he owns a set of shoes
No.
either.
Or
I've never
chair.
seen him in shoes.
Or a desk.
Oh yeah, I can't
Or-
do that
or a
down
house.
down stuff. You
I
know,
will say he's that guy to walk around with a loop antenna on his back, though, at the Ham Fest. He's that guy.
You know his
Well,
name is Peter Parker. That explains a lot.
Peter Parker.
Oh,
I
my God, really?
You know, was a Spider-Man like a big deal when he was born? Like, depending upon how old he is, right? Like, there wasn't any.
We had
Comics.
Spider-Man
Comics.
when I was born.
Comics. Comics.
We
Yeah,
had
but there wasn't
Spider-Man.
any internet down there, and he's from a foreign land.
Overhead. Hey there.
Like, did they have that? Did they have it over
Spider-Man,
in foreign
that's
land?
right.
Had it made its way across the globe?
I'm sure.
It
You know,
started
Spider-Man's been around since like the 60s.
Well, I mean, I don't know how old the dude. I don't.
That was one of the Marvel comics, though. I was a DC kid, so, you know, if it wasn't Superman.
Well, I got to tell you, both were nerds where I grew up. So whatever. We read comic books.
Well, you know,
You and your Star Trek.
because you don't know how to read. It's probably because you don't know how to read.
That's probably. Probably have more to do.
He came
Yeah,
out.
I don't know.
Can I have a Miller Lite, Mom?
Yeah, I was wondering if we have a picture of me as a youth with a Miller Lite. I'll see if I can find it.
You need to find that. Photoshop begs for that
But
with your mullet.
I don't. Yeah, of course. I don't know if he grew up thinking, you know, about Peter Parker and Spider-Man and all that stuff or not. I'll have to ask him that.
Yeah, we should have him on.
Yes, Jim was an Archie fan. Yes.
No, I
Josie
never
and the
watched.
Pussycats.
Archie was stupid.
You know, I think a lot of his
Superman.
vertical Moxons weren't they 10 meter? But that was back when the bands, when Tim. I mean, I wish Tim was like totally open right now because
11 years ago.
it's yeah. A lot of his videos were when Tim was just killing it, and I tell you, man, it's a little easier. That's a lot. That was half the size, right?
Well, he has a
Roughly.
video with the Pixie where he adds a VFO to it.
Oh yeah.
It's like, man.
Okay,
Quiet-
it's an
quiet
awkward
bunch.
silence.
He said I was reading what Adam wrote here. He said something about somebody's mullet. I don't know if he's talking about Abe or.
I had one, and then
mullet.
I grew one out during the first year of COVID, and it wasn't as good as the one I had in the 80s. I'll leave it at that. But what
Well, you could grow hair better in the 80s.
Yeah.
right.
Right.
Well, I can grow hair a lot better now.
starting to
Just-
lose
it's
mine,
not on
man.
the top of my head. It's like on my chest and on my back. And
It's like a forest, right?
Nose hair, ear hair.
one of the fellows came over last night, and we were talking, and he was like, "Yeah, you know, everybody's saying in 2020 was a hard year, and then they wanted to go into 21, and that was a hard year too." I'm like, 2020, that was my first year working from home. I didn't put shoes on for about 9 months. I wore shorts every day. I had all my food delivered to the house. And when I pulled up at the liquor store, the beer kid would run my Miller Lite out. I was like, that was the best year of my life. I don't understand why everybody.
My best
I didn't get one haircut. I wouldn't shave for weeks. I was like, I couldn't believe how great 2000.
And you were still married.
Hey,
Yeah. I was like,
That's
the
right.
best year of my life.
so
That's right.
So
Pretty
here's
good,
an
right?
upcoming thing. Should I show this one?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
It just we couldn't have planned this any better because that is pressing all four corners of the box.
Well, there's two
That's how big that
fantastic
one
things
is.
about the size of that. That is the Kraken coming soon to the
Kraken.
internet site near you. It's just that it fits perfectly on an Ender 3D print bed.
Oh, God.
and it fits in the box. I was doing my morning business, and all of a sudden I'm like, I bet it doesn't fit in the shipping box. And Chuck hurried up and did a test. But this one is, what are we going to call it, the Barefoot or the QRO? If your mission is to
all of them are
operate
barefoot.
QRO.
All of our antennas are 100 watts or better on sideband.
Right.
But that is
Ergo the name. Ergo the name of the website.
that one has
In case
a
y'all didn't pick up on
higher
that yet.
wattage capability with a T240
Right.
43 toroid, and
You might get 100 watts of FT8 on that one. I don't know.
you should be able to get them easily.
At least.
Mm-hmm.
But,
need to
I
test
like
this
that
one.
Hollywood. Look at that.
Chuck, hold that up next to some of the, like, if you have the original Artemis. I mean, because like I can have them here, but it's probably not going to do it justice. I mean, it's the Kraken is a big one. It's a big one for sure.
Hold them up there. Holy crap! You don't really get
One
that
on
until
top of
now.
wow.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you're not fitting this in your pocket. And this is a thump. This thump
dare
went
you
rogue
assume
and
the
made
size
this
of
too
my
wide.
pocket.
We're going to make that smaller, but
So,
is
now,
huge.
that will be with an SO239, right?
We've gone back and forth on that one.
Nice, Chuck.
That's like the original
Yeah.
one.
There you
Chuck
go.
knows how to do it.
That was actually the second version, I think, right there. The orange one.
Yeah. So a faux 5 auto saying it has to have a name after a Greek god. we've allowed Roman gods names as well as Titans. So
Right.
Can we do Celtic gods too? That would be awesome.
no,
I totally think we ought to do Celtic gods and Norse.
save that for your underpants line. We're not doing that.
Oh, I already used my underpants line. That's why I know all the names already.
What?
The crap you say sometimes, man. Nothing. I'm glad I wasn't drinking because it would have come straight out.
Yeah, but
Yeah, my underpants line
Jesus
starts
Christ.
with the Dagda.
wait, the Kraken.
Straight.
We're very very.
See, that'd be a good name for underpants line right there. The crack.
Hey, I gotta say happy birthday to my grandson, 6 years old today. I
Happy
took
birthday.
up we
Happy
got him
birthday.
we got him a
Happy
drone,
birthday, grandson.
and
You
I
got
tell
me
you
drunk?
guys,
What did you say?
no, we took him a drone. Bought him a drone. And it's a pretty small drone, but he picked it up like in about 5 minutes. I'm like, push it forward, and he's like, push back. And then one time the wind, I go down. The wind's blowing it right, so you're gonna have to bring it back and left, so it comes back and it just comes back perfect because he's pushing left and pulling back at the same time. I'm like, how'd you know how to do that? He goes, you just told me to do that, Papa. He goes, you told me to bring it back and bring it left.
Yeah, I'm
He
not
knows how to
good.
use a cell phone better than I do already too. So that was
right.
a name. That was a name we brought up once or twice, I think.
Slag door.
Flag door.
I like that. There's some. I'm not a Skid Row fan. I mean, we could call it the
Same, all of your
Freebird.
antennas have
We
your
could call it the
X5.
Freebird. I'm just saying.
So when Sebastian Bach got in trouble in 1989 in Boston for throwing the bottle into the crowd that he claims he didn't know
Right.
was a bottle, my friend and I were going to drive to Boston to show our support. that's terrible. I should admit that, but huge Skid Row fan. And as great as the first album was, the second album was even better. But don't.
No, man. No.
Oh,
I was a huge fan when I was a kid.
They were okay. They were okay. They were all right.
one more part
my
of the
favorite.
kit. Here, I put it right there. Yeah, you can't see
That's
it.
the most
Behind the
important
logo,
part
no,
of
you
the kid, right?
can't even see it.
Those are popular.
Tio, did you want to pull up the instructions? I think somebody was asking some questions about that
I want to pull
earlier.
up. Yeah. Let me do that.
Yeah.
I think the
Bob, did you have any comments about the instructions?
He got early version instructions too.
Yeah, I got an early I watched Chuck's video. I got the early version of the instructions and then the final version as well. I mean, it's a simple build from my perspective, so I don't even think I really paid too much attention to the instructions because it's straightforward. The frame tells you where to put the screws through and where the toroid goes. So it's the first time I wrapped the toroid with a pair of wires side by side. No one gave us a video on that, so Bob had to do that. A boring video, of course. If you watched it,
the humor that you had in that video was fantastic.
I missed half of it because my headphones disconnected, and I'm thinking, well, I wonder why he left all the sound out here.
Well, my thought was, when I first started making antennas, I watched videos end to end, and I wanted to see every part of it so I could learn. And so I thought, you know what, just tell people, if you're experienced at this, get off this freaking video. You don't belong here. Go watch something more exciting. Those people that are watching this want to learn. So let them have it.
More
and I did.
Than mining a toroid. You're absolutely
right.
Correct.
Well, no, I mean, I think you did a great job with them, and even with the Artemis antennas. And so we are totally appreciative of that and your help doing it. So I'd never checked with the guys, but I think that for each new model, you're going to get one. So you can do that, and thank you, because they're super duper handy. Like, I've sent the videos to people multiple times who've reached out to me for help with stuff. So
I gotta say, go ahead, Steve.
On the last video, we shot down using Robert's rules of order, so I have no idea how to agree with you without Robert being here. But we have Bob. Bob, how do I agree with Abe? Can we use Bob's rules of order?
You can.
I do think if Bob is going to get this special friend of the channel thing, then Bob needs to up his game on the next opening video. Because I mean, I need more. I need more. I need bigger. I need Vegas,
guys,
baby.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. I posted that, and then I'm just sitting there going, "Wait a second. Did I insult those? Did I insult them? I mean, these guys are my friends. I took it's like I destroyed somebody actually commented, dude, I can't believe you destroyed that antenna. Thinking, what makes you think I just, I guess the video made you think it was the orange wire popping out that made him think that.
Right.
Yeah, you almost had me there.
I was even made my wife watch. I was like, you got to watch this. Because she saw the other one, right? Where you come in and you hang the sticker over the fireplace and all that stuff. And so I was like, you got to, she's like, oh, I know him. And,
you're famous now, Bob.
I have the ending. I already have the ending planned for the next one because I wish I would have done it for this one. So, yep. All right, I'll up the game a little bit, Jim. I'll see what I can do.
I need Hollywood, man.
Richard's asking if you could swap the traps on the Mercury. So it's not a trap. These are links, and the difference is that a link you have to physically disconnect. The reason we use links for physical disconnection is that they have less insertion loss than when you actually put a trap in. Traps, this is a trap right here. Traps do not need to be disconnected.
Hang on.
Maybe we're going to do a trapped antenna in the future.
Abe, show that.
This is an itty bitty trap from QRP guys. It's just a resonant tank circuit. So you see your inductor and then your capacitor right there. Very simple. But
I've got a kit around here someplace.
So it's not a trap, but what's interesting is that our friend here, HOA Ham, did put links into his NFET half wave, right? Didn't you put one at 30 meters?
Yeah, I put one at 30 meters because sometimes I'm in a confined space. So I just figured I would make it workable on 30 meters. That's how I tuned it. And then I added the balance of the leg to get it resonant on the other bands that we were going after. And I did the same thing that Chuck has planned here. I used the banana plugs, and that's how we did it.
Yeah. I had never even thought of using the banana plugs like that. That's 100% of a Chuck idea there.
Of a Chuck idea. And the way he's fastened the wire to the S-beaners, I thought was clever because I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah.
I used heat shrink the first time and it slipped. It wasn't a really good heat shrink, but and then it's like, well, that's one less thing we have to put in the kit. So,
well, you used those rope clamps there, Bob, didn't you? When the one you did for the Artemis, you used rope clamps, right?
Yeah, I did the fancy ones.
I did, and that's what I intend to do for the Mercury as well. But when I do that video, I'm certainly going to recommend people look at Chuck's video because it looks professional the way he ties it off. So you don't need to go out and buy that equipment. I just happen to own it because I do things so often, and therefore I use it because I have it. But what Chuck has done looks just as professional. But yep, I'll crimp it so I can show that as an option.
What's funny is that I was going through my stuff when I built the 9-to-1 that I did a couple of weeks ago. I used those clamps as well, and I was just going through my antenna building box, and I was like, "Oh, look, I got these clamps in here." Somebody asked me a question on the video like a week later, and they're like, "Hey, where did you get those clamps?" And I was like, well, "Wait, I don't know. Maybe there was a sticker on the bag that they were in, or something like that." Because I just really couldn't remember. So I go over and I start digging in my antenna box. And I found a second bag of them that are just a little bit of a different size. I don't really remember ordering each one. So, I mean, I might have picked them up.
I got some off of Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon. But I think Hamfest, and it's been a long time since I've been to Hamfest, are so cool because you get these guys that have all of this tanker tables. You know what I mean? Where it's like they got toroids and dog bones and connectors and adapters and just all this crazy stuff. Yeah, and I just go and I just fill a bag up with stuff, and I'm just like, I know that at some point in time I'll be digging in the parts box, and it comes in really handy.
Yeah, and you cannot underestimate how much of that random crap you need.
Yeah,
because I cannot tell you how many times I'm sitting out in the shop at 10 o'clock on a Thursday night out of 2-day Amazon range going crap.
Yeah,
I've used 26 by 32 shed, and I can't fit all the crap I need in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of got that problem too.
So this here's a picture of Chuck's guy stake method, and he's used old Tide bottles and some extra rope. And if you put that extra rope in there, what'll happen with the extra rope is you get more of a spread in your elements than you would if you
12 or 15 feet
straight to the end. So
no, I didn't see those. I didn't see.
I don't remember those pictures either. Yeah,
I remember the pictures. I don't remember the highlights.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for reviewing. I really appreciate you being there. Teamwork.
We already reviewed it 5 times and did most of the work for you, man. Me and Nate were on that,
And then this is not
just coming and swoop it in with the glory there, Steve. All you did was highlight it, man.
You use this Tide bottle instead of staking it down because sometimes the parks get upset at you for putting a stake in the ground, right?
They do. Yep.
That is not an energy drink bottle. I just want to make sure that the younger audience members know that.
I also have a little bungee cord. If you look at the very top left there where it comes off the Tide bottle, that's a bungee cord. So if somebody does run into it, it'll knock it over. But that's the nice thing is it's not stuck to the ground, and it's really easy to adjust it because it never fails that I've got one. I pull on it. It's like, okay, it looks about perfect, and then I go over and I pull the other side out tight,
right,
and it's like leaning one way. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe this.
Good enough, man. Good enough.
But I did use those clips you were talking about with a little screw in them, on an antenna in the past, and I just got to where I didn't want to use those anymore. But with knots and stuff, and Adam can attest to this, and so can Jim. When you're in the fire service or you do rope rescue like Adam does, knots are very important. And you go to a class, and that guy's like, you dress your knots because I guess anytime that you have a twist in it. I guess if you get a twist in it, it's not going to like it's going to make the knot not fail or anything like that. But I guess it does take a little bit of the, I don't know. Maybe they just
show some pride in your work. So these are the guy stakes that Chuck likes to use. He likes to use these Tide bottles, and then these are the guy stakes that I like to use.
That made me laugh when
those come at the end.
That's great. I have those
successful POTA.
I can't remember if I bought them on Amazon or at Home Depot. I have some plastic, and they're international orange, and I like them for that, so you don't accidentally mow over them, and you can see them. And especially if you're out in the park or somewhere, it's kind of obvious.
What are you talking about, son?
The orange stakes.
Okay, you never said steaks. I'm sitting here like.
Well, y'all were just talking about steaks. I'm talking about real steaks, not TO steaks or Chuck steaks.
Are you talking about like those driveway steaks or whatever? That's how Chuck made his antenna, his cubicle quad, right?
Oh, I got another one.
I don't know what a driveway steak is.
These
are like tent steaks.
10 steaks. 10 steaks.
Yeah, these are like tent steaks. Their orange are about 12 inches long and orange plastic, and they got a couple ears. So you don't have to loop the rope through it to tie it off. You can tie it off in a figure eight like you tie off a boat, a cleat kind of deal, and a half hitch.
Those driveway markers that Ape was talking about are good for a lot of projects because they're about $2 or $3 a piece. And they're 4 foot. Sometimes in actual snow country, I think you can get 6-footers.
I also got some of that. I've got some orange. I don't know what it's for. I bought it off of Amazon, like orange
Juice.
streamer tape, orange juice, and I just tear off a piece and tie it around the wire, so that when I'm mowing, I can see the damn thing and I don't accidentally go and clothesline myself.
When you said you're mowing like the faucets, what do you mean?
Mowing, not mowing.
Mowing. He's like, when I'm out there mowing, I'm like, we have a mowing faucet in the kitchen.
Yeah, I'm a Delta man myself. Every so often, if I can't find Delta, I'll use Fister, but Delta's where it's at.
Well, Delta just sounds like an antenna, right?
Oh my lord!
Alpha Delta.
Alpha Delta.
I was using an Alpha Delta today. Alpha Delta fan dipole because they didn't have a CaHRTenna fan dipole yet.
Well, we are 5 minutes from the end of the show. Somebody's coming on after us, I think. Right? Is it?
OG.
Oh yeah, I thought it's the Dave. So, Bob, what have you got going on coming up?
Well, I was just starting on a video series on a very compact antenna that's going to go with my small emergency go bag. I don't know if the antenna works or not because I got interrupted by, something else that I needed to do a video, build video and review on.
I'm not going to apologize.
But so I'm hoping to pick up on that maybe in about a week. I'll be sharing that, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, so people know not to buy it if it's garbage. But if it's pretty good stuff, it's think toy box, but potentially much better. I think
It's a trigger
but
word.
usable, but usable.
Don't say
Yeah, because
we don't say the T word, Bob. We don't say.
well, so think of a cross
here.
between a Wolf River coil and a toy box. That's what this thing is. So hang tight. It'll be out soon.
All right,
where's mine? I got
I
one here.
expect honesty.
Right. Chuck, what do you got going on, buddy?
Ape and I have talked about this a lot, and he kind of brought it up one time. I'm probably gonna do a toroid wrap for the antenna video, and I'm gonna do it a little bit different than Bob did, and I kind of learned this from my buddy Ape. Instead of taking the end of that wire, let's see, where's my hand here? The end of that wire I'm going through, you just pull it through from the bottom. And I did that on my wrap for this antenna, and it was so much easier than...
I saw y'all talking about that. I didn't understand what you were talking about
when
exactly.
you put it in like Bob did, and I noticed Bob was pretty good because he had his finger down at the bottom on a couple of those, I noticed, and so to keep it from kinking, because you can kink it pretty easy if you're not
Yes. That's the problem. When you take the end of the string and you put it into the toroid, you can where it starts to roll over, you can kink it. And if you kink that magnet wire, I'll tell you, getting the kink out that's a tough one.
Yeah.
You need a toroid chiropractor. I don't know. I give up.
I tell you, I saw a video where this guy used I don't even know the name of the tool, spanner pliers, I think is what they're called.
Yeah.
And he used the round edges inside the spanner, like the spanner needle nose pliers, and he straightened out the most kinked up piece of magnet wire I've ever seen. It was like pin straight when he was done. I was like, I need to learn that technique.
It's the pliers that are round. They look like needle nose pliers, but they have two round pieces that don't actually clamp.
Yep.
They're used for manipulating wire, oddly enough. Yeah.
Oh,
is that what they're used for? Because I use them to undo. I had a bolt that had two holes in it, and that's why I bought them.
That'll work too. Security bolts, yeah.
It sounds like it. Okay.
Well,
yeah. I know what you're talking about now.
If I was at my desk at my workbench, I could reach down and grab them for you and show them to you. But
yeah, I've got them out in my shop.
Mine are upstairs.
There.
I can't do.
Like the ones that you used to take split rings on and off, that kind of deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, they look just like needle nose pliers, except for the pinchers are rounded over, conical rounded over.
Okay.
Hollywood's like just pull the wire over the edge of a fine dining room table.
It works straight as an arrow. In Hollywood, you're exactly right.
Without
your
the
bench.
XYL saying it. I'm waiting for
What
Hollywood
you got
to
going
name
on?
his name too.
Yeah, Ape named him.
No, he did. He said just call me Hollywood.
Okay.
Because I kept calling him the wrong G word.
That was the one thing I didn't do in my video was wrap the tour. Because I already tell you the truth. When Ape's like, you got to make a video of this, and I'm like, well, I already wrapped it, and I only had one tour right here, so
You can unwrap them at least once.
Well, I did actually tell you the truth. How many times did I wrap that Tory? Because I did coax. I did 3 or 4 different coax wraps because that's a way to do it also. But they didn't come out as clean looking. I just have to say that. But they were good. But I used the 318. I used I used a bunch of different ones. But, hey,
Ape, what you got going on?
Retiva sent me this radio. It's a RT95, 25 watt dual band radio. So I'm pretty excited about it. It had a wire on the back of it, and this thing was like a country mile long, and it had like one of them Molex connectors or something like that right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was fused on the other side of the connector too. So it had 2 fuses on the power line, no fuse on the ground. So I just cut it off and I put this, what is this power pole connector on there. So I did that today, and then I've got 2 test videos I'm planning for tomorrow. Hopefully I'll get those done and get those posted tomorrow night. We're going to do a couple of different videos testing various aspects of this radio, and then the final review will be like, hey, here are all the things that we tested and how it did. So that's the plan.
Awesome.
Steve-O, what are you doing? I know you're still at Yoda Camp, right?
I am at Yoda Camp, and we're having a blast here. We did a weather balloon, high altitude balloon launch. They actually talked to the astronauts on the space station today, completely unplanned. The astronauts just happened to be running the NA1SS call sign, and we were out doing satellites. What else did we do? They did a Fox hunt. They did a build of an attenuator and a Yagi tape measuring antenna, and then they did a Fox hunt today with the guy that gave the Fox hunt class is actually like USA's competition, gold medal winning.
It looks like he's using Bob's internet.
I wondered. Bob's internet's fine. Bob's microphone is a little.
I'm at the hotel.
I think you hit the mute button when you're spinning the frame of the antenna. I think is what got it.
I think Steve is frozen. There he is. Now he's back.
Frozen.
Is he?
No, I
is
think
he
he's
still frozen?
Again.
Yeah, he's frozen.
He might be
again.
playing that trick where he's like,
I
see how
don't
long
know.
I can pretend to be frozen.
Right. We have. I'm working on a field strength meter, which will integrate with whatever multimeter you have laying around, I hope. And
very exciting stuff.
It's pretty cool. So, if you're trying to test an antenna and you want to see what shape it's putting out, then you need something like this. And it will give you a relative strength, too. I'm still waiting on mine. I don't have mine yet. When did you get yours?
A couple days ago, but I got to tell you, so see these holes right here? I can't even move, like here and here.
Yeah.
They didn't come with screws.
Hold it up again.
There's no screws.
Oh, sons of bitches. So,
Right, so
what,
now I
it's
gotta
like
take it to
M3
the-
or something?
I don't know. So now I got to take this to the hardware store and be like, do you have screws for my blue box? I mean, I'm a little upset about it, to be honest with you.
I think mine's out for delivery tomorrow or something. Maybe it came today. I don't know.
I don't know if you see, but like right here, it's scuffed. See that?
Wow.
So that'll have to be the back. But I guess, what do you expect for $6 from China?
I was going to say that was pretty cheap.
Is it
But this is the worst color in the world. I'm like, how come you have like flat dark earth or tactical green, or you know what I mean?
I was
Like,
going to say, paint it, son.
Paint it.
The can of Krylon ain't expensive.
if I Krylon it, it'll look worse. So we're just going to go with the Easter egg blue. I don't even know what color.
Are
that
you
is.
going to put that FSM in that? Is that what you're planning to do with that box? I forgot what we were talking about when we bought them.
FSM V2 is probably going to go in that box.
Oh, when you go full fancy.
Yeah.
There he is. Now he's back. Yeah, I got mine wired. I wired up the board last night, and I have the board wired. But it was kind of late when I was working on this, and I was also watching TV, and That's not disconcerting at all. I don't know.
Hi, everybody.
It's like working with my brother's kids, y'all.
He's like playing cards with my damn brother's kids.
Yeah,
Did I say
that's
that?
exactly right. Yep. Well, I think there's a few more curse words in there when Billy Joe
That's
said
from
it.
one of my favorite scenes in Tombstone.
Of all time.
Billy Bob Thornton is he's dealing the cards at the Oriental, if I remember correctly.
At the Oriental.
Pharaoh at the Oriental.
The Pharaoh table at the Oriental.
And Wyatt Earp sets him straight. So
that's right. Go ahead and skin that smoke wagon. You're gonna do something, you're just gonna stand there and bleed.
Right.
I love that movie.
I say I feel like I'm playing cards with my brother's kids.
I've said it more than once. Yeah.
People get mad at me. I love
Indeed. Indeed. Well, that's because you were froze. You were froze. Guys, this is we are 5 minutes over and we're cutting into Cashler's time and he's probably doing something pretty engineering.
He's probably waiting for us to finish.
Is go over to Dave's channel and watch his video and tell him that Coffee and Ham Radio Cafe Noir sent you. The first premiere edition.
Everybody.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
See y'all.
I'd also like to thank Bob for being here.
Thanks, Bob.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Bob.